this video we will look at how to create a new group. So grouping is done by first selecting a table in which you want the group to be made. If you remember, groups can only be applied to columns of string, and in this case, if we use the material modal data as our example, you will see that in this set of tables, the only one that has a string is material name. And so that's what we're going to be grouping. We'll be grouping a set of material names. To actually get the whole process started, we just click the Add Grouping button. This will bring up your grouping interface. Here you can change the name of the group, and so in this case this could be my new group. The grouping column allows you to pick which string column to actually group. Now in this case we only have one choice, which is the material name, because it's the only string column, which we will select here. The next is what you want to call any items that don't fit into any of the groups. And so once you've created the group, any orphaned categories will all go into this ungrouped label. In this case we'll say others, and if you do plot the data, the color of these ungroups can be determined here. The first thing you notice is when I did pick the material name, the reports automatically updated the unused categories, and this actually shows you all of the items, all the categories, basically each of the rows of the items that were in that column that we selected. Next to it, the category plot just shows all the categories that are present within that row, that column, and also the number of times it appears. In general, you should expect it always to be 1, because if this is more than 1, it means you have a duplicate item in that column, and you should go back and check the consistency of the data that was imported. So if we want to start making a group, we can just click the Add Group button, and you'll see a group has been added here in this lower panel. We can give this group a name by just clicking it and calling it Group 1. Then you can add another group by just clicking the button again and again. And so we can just call this one Group 2. This one can be Group 3. And the color of the groups can be changed here. So green can be changed to orange, can be changed to blue. And if you want some more color options, you have the option to go into the more detailed interface here as well. So we can change it to any other color, and we can enter the hexacode for any particular colors that you're interested in. Now that we've actually created the groups, we can start moving items from the unused categories into a group. So if we just pick first tranche of categories here, we can click and drag them into any of these groups. The first thing you notice is that the used categories is now being populated by all of the items that we've added to this group. So this gives you an understanding of the number of items which have been added to a group and the ones that haven't been added to the group. You'll also notice the histogram has changed. So what this histogram is showing you is the total number of rows which fit into group 1 based on the items that we place in here, and the number of rows in this column that basically are ungrouped, which is basically all of these ones. And so we can go through the whole process of selecting a whole bunch of other ones, which we can grab group 2, and a whole bunch to group 3. And if we find there's still more, it's just an easy case of adding another group, which we call group 4, green spine. We add all of that to group 4. And you can see here we have a distribution of all the different rows, the number of rows which fall into each of these groups. Now obviously in this case here, for mineral samples, you would be grouping them based on mineral type, maybe silicates, feldspars, clays, micas, or whatnot. And so the distribution will look different than just a random selection. But we can finish this up by just adding the remaining items into different groups. And you notice now this is blank. The ungrouped one has disappeared now. So others has gone, and everything's been distributed between groups 1 through to 4. If you're happy with that, you can click OK. If you want to remove a group, you can remove them by clicking this button, and it will kick all of the categories back out of that group. And so if we click OK and leave all of these ones in the others, if we now go to the end of our material modal table, we will find a new column called My New Group, showing you which group each of these rows have been assigned to. You can see here I made another one for a different set of groups as well. So that's the easy way of creating groups, which can then be used for plotting, for reporting as well. And so that's the end of that tutorial.